Rarely has mankind hesitated to eradicate the creatures that stand in the path of his conquest. If we find intelligent species, ritual extraterrestrials, undesirable beings, natives of another world, must be destroyed if possible that our dark past. Watch out and pray.
Hello and greetings. Welcome back to Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. We have episode 7 for you today. This is Hynek Scale, the Close Encounter System. And before we get into anything, it's me, Tasker, and our resident tinfoil enthusiast, Nick.
Hey, Tasker. So, a little story for you. I went to a Mexican restaurant last night.
Okay.
I had a bunch of carnitas tacos.
Always very tasty.
And on these tacos, I put about a pint of habanero salsa on them.
Okay.
And I just want to let you know that if the portal to hell is truly on Earth, it was my asshole 3 hours ago.
Well, yeah, habanero is significantly hotter than jalapenos, and you just kind of doused it like you were a scuba diver jumping into the Atlantic.
I just don't know if I should see a proctologist after this morning or not. It was bad.
Well, if symptoms persist for more than a couple days, then yeah, you might need to see somebody for that. That's pretty I thought for a second you were going to make another coronavirus joke by saying that you doused it in Corona beer.
No, but that was a good one. I wish I would have come up with that.
It's okay. And hopefully, if you are actually stuck in China right now because they have recently closed down the airports, I hope you're listening to the podcast. Hopefully it's, giving you something to listen to help you kill some time. I know a couple people stuck in China right now.
Yes, we do have a couple friends in China. And oh my God, stay there for a little while. You know? Don't come over here anytime soon.
Exactly. And, if when you do come back, if you need to take like a week or two to kind of not touch anybody or get near anybody, that's okay too.
Yeah, let's just say they're not coming to any of my parties when they get back for a while. But yes, it's bad.
I'm sure they're fine, but we're just being cautious. But today we are actually not talking about diseases, though actually potentially we might, because we are doing a namesake episode about creatures that are from a different planet, extraterrestrials who may or may not be carrying alien diseases.
And it's going to be a very meta episode. This is Hynek Scale, the Close Encounter System.
Right.
Essentially where we got our name from.
Yeah, and a lot of other derivative podcast names. Actually, we were very surprised that Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind was not taken.
Gotcha.
So, suckers.
All right, let's get into it. So Hynek Scale, also known as the Close Encounters System, is a scale that was created by Joseph Allen Hynek to be used by UFO researchers in order to categorize UFO sightings and interactions with extraterrestrial beings. And before we get into the system itself, let's learn a little bit more about the man behind it. Joseph Allen Hynek, whose first name is often shortened to simply J.
It's the most like MIB, secret agent, trying to make yourself sound cooler deal.
My name is J. Allen Hynek.
Okay, actually, no,
it sounds kind of cool,
that actually
right?
rolls off the tongue. Okay, I see why he does it.
He was a famed U.S. Air Force advisor, astrophysicist, and most notably, UFO researcher.
So that's a very important point to emphasize. He isn't just some random trailer park screaming at the sky. This is a reputable scientist, right?
Yes, this is a scientist. This is a guy that worked with the U.S. Air Force in order, and we'll get into this, but in order to divulge into UFO cases with the Air Force. It was very cool. So that's actually what we're going to talk about.
Ooh.
So in the U.S. Air Force, Hynek was a scientific consultant on 3 official UFO investigation projects that the Air Force was conducting. One was Project Sign from 1947 to 1949. 2, Project Grudge from 1949 to 1952. And, most notably, Project Blue Book.
Love it.
And Project Blue Book from 1952 to 1969.
Hey.
Very nice.
And emphasis on these were government-sanctioned projects to study unidentified flying objects. There was a time where we actually were spending our taxpayers' dollars to really study to see if UFOs were real.
Oh, hell yeah. And I'll still give him my money. I'll give him my tax dollars to see if UFOs are real any day of the week. I don't want to go into the military. I don't want to go into feed the homeless. I don't want to go into cure AIDS. I want to go in to see if aliens are coming down and probing people.
Well, maybe military is not the worst idea because Space Force is in full swing now. They have uniforms and everything.
Yeah, I signed up.
Yeah, the newest branch of the U.S. military.
I'm out. So you're going to have to find a new co-host, buddy. I'm joining Space Force.
If they let you in, man, Godspeed. I mean,
if they let me in.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the general of Space Force, all right?
Yeah, I remember when that first day happened. I think we were actually walking on a treadmill together, and you actually refused to stop the treadmill so you can give your spiel about why we should both drop everything to join Space Force.
I told him I don't give a fuck if I'm just a janitor on some spaceship. I'm joining Space Force. All right, but Hynek started as a complete skeptic on his first assignment, Project Sign. His job was to review official UFO reports and determine if these could possibly be misidentified human aircraft or natural phenomena occurring in space. Now, about half a decade later, during Project Grudge, Hynek began having a change of heart on the topic of UFOs, and this was due to two main factors. The first being his growing concern over why the Air Force was so dead set on dismissing every UFO report it investigated. They had to have some kind of explanation for these reports. In fact, they expected Hynek to find a rational explanation for the UFO reports. So they weren't just like, hey, I want you to do your due diligence as a scientist and tell us what's really going on here. They were like, hey, look over these reports, and if you say it's anything other than just like a misidentified aircraft, we're going to kill you. It's kind of like one of those things.
Interesting. So the project itself, so I just said earlier, like, oh, this was a government-sanctioned UFO research project, but the plot twist was actually they were making an official government project where the goal ultimately was more to disprove UFOs.
Absolutely.
Which probably was more of like a publicity, like PR thing where they wanted to get people to shut the fuck up about aliens.
It very well could have been like everybody was bugging them to like look into this situation, all these unidentified flying objects around. Mm-hmm. And they're like, fine, we'll do it.
Yeah, but
we'll do it our way.
Yeah. And the problem though is, as like with our boy Jay, is he actually started to believe in it though.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's, they kind of, and so with them trying to get him to do their job the way they wanted it done, they started pushing him to the other side.
Oh. And
the second reason was because of the sheer amount of reports flooding in. And not only the amount of reports, but he began taking into consideration the sources themselves. So military pilots, military police officers, they were all making reports about seeing unidentified flying objects. And Hynek, knowing full well how trained these people are, having been around them for so long, started thinking there might be more than meets the eye.
So he wasn't just mad at his boss. It was just on top of the fact the government's just like, no, you're not here to prove UFOs exist. You're here to prove that they don't exist. And then on top of that, he's just like, also all of his Air Force buddies and all of his like people he respects are just like, no, dude, like we're seeing shit. So he's kind of being a regular Anakin Skywalker.
Can you explain that reference?
Oh yeah, it's because it's like, Anakin was originally trained in the Jedi. You're supposed to do this and that, and the training, in a sense, is what got him to join the dark side because he was so disillusioned with the quote unquote right way, or in this case, the government way.
No, I meant who's Anakin Skywalker?
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding. No, I like that. That was a good comparison.
Did you feel my heart break for a second
Yes.
there? I was just like, no, don't put that evil on me.
Now, with his interest in the UFO phenomena growing, Hynek created the Center for UFO Studies, also known as CUFOS, in 1973, in order to promote the scientific analysis of UFO reports. A year prior to founding CUFOS in 1972, Hynek published a book entitled The UFO Experience, A Scientific Inquiry, and this is where he first brought the idea of UFO sighting classification to fruition. This is where we get today's topic from, Hynek scale. Hynek scale can be broken down into two main sections. The first being sightings over 200 yards or around 600 feet.
If you're in America.
All right. And also, by the way, we have one listener outside of America.
Yeah.
We have one guy listening in England. Hey, thanks, man. We really appreciate the support. So for you, it's going to be 200 yards.
Y'all thought we were just kidding. Like, oh yeah, American. It's like, no. We recently went global.
We went global
with our one UK listener. But hey, man, we know you're here. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Governor. Appreciate it, mate.
And there he goes.
No, sorry. All right. So that's the first is sightings over 200 yards, and then sightings or interactions within 200 yards or 600 feet. And let's begin with the categories of sightings that are beyond the 200-yard mark. First is nocturnal sightings. These sightings occur at night, and the object moves in an unconventional way, which makes it stand out among other things in the sky, other astronomical phenomena that could be misinterpreted or as UFOs. These objects are usually quite colorful and bright as well, being seen in colors such as blue, orange, red, and white. This type of sighting is by far the most common when it comes to UFO sightings, because you always hear somebody like, I was sitting out there on my porch drinking some Mountain Dew. All of a sudden I looked up in the sky, and I swear to God, about, I don't know, I'm going to say 700 yards away, big light in the sky. Mm-hmm. Was it an airplane? I don't think so.
A little too bright for that, I say.
Yeah, so that's definitely the most common thing that you're going to hear come out of anybody's mouth when it comes to UFO sightings is the distant night sky lights, right?
Yeah, though I know there's a thing called like a Tesla something, not a conundrum, that's not the right word for it, but it literally is like an orb of like moving lightning, and it's like they're called like lightning orbs. They're super rare. Like it is a Tesla phenomena, I think is what it's called. But I mean that could be some of it, but those are also bright white. So if we're getting reds and blues and stuff, maybe it's something else.
Maybe it's a floating Christmas tree.
Yeah, it could be that too. Anyways,
next up is daylight discs. So these sightings take place during the day, and an actual shape of the UFO can be seen, usually taking the form of an oval or a disc, hence the name. These UFOs are often seen hovering and can move and disappear faster than what we see as possible. So these are also common, right? These are fairly common sightings. Somebody say they see like a cigar-shaped object in the sky, or they see like this object far away in the sky that just disappears quickly, just stuff like that you hear about.
Yeah, just the classic flying saucer.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then third up in this category is radar visual. So as the name suggests, these are sightings by blips on a radar, often reported by military and commercial pilots alike. But this type of sighting is reported the least. It's the most infrequent.
So that's just like something shows up on radar and then there's actually nothing there, or?
It shows up on radar. Radar can go far. So they might not necessarily see it with their eyes, but they might have cooperation with other people who see it on the radar as well, like somebody on their radar. So they're all seeing this one object on all their radar screens.
Got it.
It could be there 1 second, and then the other second it could be gone.
Got it. And also too, I know this goes like without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. UFO is any unidentified flying object, anything out there in the skies that's not
identified.
Ours. Yeah, non-identifiable. Yes. Hence, unidentified flying object, i.e., UFO acronym. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you for spelling it out. Can you tell me the time too, Big Ben? You don't have to do that. It's okay. It was for a bit.
It's 1:10.
Okay. Now let's continue on to the more well-known section, which is that of sightings within 200 yards, or the close encounters.
Oh, okay. So now we're getting to the juicy stuff.
Now we're getting into the nice juicy stuff.
Oh, nice.
First up is close encounters of the first kind, or CE1. This is the most basic and common encounter. It is essentially a UFO sighting within 200 yards that had no interaction with the witness or the environment around the witness. So it's a very basic, think of it just as a closer version of either the nocturnal lights or the daylight discs. That's all it is.
Yeah, and also for our American listeners, that's 600 feet.
That's 600 feet. But you know what? No, this one goes out to our one listener in England. All right. So we're saying yards the rest of the time.
All right.
All right. This goes out to that guy.
See, we take care of our own.
Yeah.
Okay, so Close Encounters of the First Kind is seeing a UFO that is
Within 200 yards.
okay.
Next up is Close Encounters of the Second Kind, or CE2. This is an encounter where there was some kind of interaction that takes place between the UFO and the witness or the environment. And this can include things like burn marks on the ground where the UFO had landed, the disturbance of animals around the area, vehicular malfunction, paralysis of the witness, just to name a few things. So it could be a number of things that affect the environment or the witness, and it has to do with some kind of UFO sighting.
Okay. So kind of rustled some jimmies, but didn't
Oh, yeah.
quite like, nobody was really directly impacted.
Nobody
by
was
this.
getting butt probed yet.
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
definitely some Jimmy rustling going on.
Oh yeah, but we're getting there. We're
We're building up. We're building up.
Oh, good. Got to get that steam, to properly set up the mood.
Yeah, blue ball it all the way.
Exactly, lighting some candles.
And lastly, and most well known thanks to the Steven Spielberg film, we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or CE3. In this type of encounter, an entity is visible to the witness, whether they are humanoid or non-humanoid, and there is usually no interaction between the entity and the witness. But since this is somewhat of a vague classification, UFO researcher Ted Blocher made subsets for CE3 in order to specify what kind of entity sighting occurred. A. An entity is only observed inside the UFO. B. An entity is observed inside and outside of the UFO. C. An entity is observed around the UFO but not going in or out of it. D. An entity is observed but no UFO is seen. And there has been, however, sightings of UFO activity around the area at the same time.
So it's kind of like a hack, like, if you just see an alien, you're already at Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like,
Yes,
you don't even have to see the ship.
But what kind was it?
Oh, got to make that report right. So when the government, files your suicide by 2 bullets to the back of your head, at least you got your facts straight.
When you get suicided, you want to make sure you know if it was CEF or if it was CE3C.
So when you know that the feds are at your door, just write down some sort of like, we'll know the code. We'll know what you were talking about.
Yeah, just write it down. We got you. E, an entity is observed, no UFO is seen, and there has not been any UFO sightings in the area. Or F, no entity or UFO has been observed, but the witness has experienced, quote, intelligent communication, unquote, like telepathy or something like that.
So that's another like sort of skip on the scale is like, if you feel like an alien was talking to you using his mind, you're already at the third kind. And I'm like talking as if like each step is like another like metal up. Like the more down you're on the close encounter system, like the better your experience was, or like it's a badge of honor.
I think it might be a badge of honor, but I think your experience gets worse as the numbers get higher. So I think you might just hope for like a nocturnal lights.
Yeah, where you could just be like, whoa, bro. But like, yeah, when like they start showing up, it's like, yeah, you get a better story out of it. But like, one might argue you might be in more danger.
Oh, yes. That's kind of it for the original Hynek scale, but there have been extensions to the scale by others, and a reason that these were tacked onto Hynek's original scale is because they help to classify interactions with the entities, and not just the sightings of them or their vehicles. Although they are not universally accepted, we'll cover them anyway because, I mean, quite frankly, it's badass.
Oh, it's great. These are the good ones. These are the ones where it's just like, we start really getting into like, just sci-fi, like,
oh yeah,
crazy,
but it's
stuff.
real.
Yeah.
So so you could say sci, but the phi part, it kind of just rustles my jimmies a little bit.
Those 2 letters are a little shaky. You feel them falling off the science part, huh?
All right, I take this shit very seriously.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah. Yeah, I don't mean to take a fat dump on your research, but go ahead and keep talking.
All right, well, first on the extensive list is Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, or CE4. It was created by another UFO researcher and colleague of Hynek, Jacques Vallée. This is a standard extraterrestrial abduction, whether it was voluntary or involuntary. It is also a change in someone's reality due to experiences a UFO sighting or extraterrestrial encounter, such as hallucinations and vivid dreams.
Ooh, so just because when your buddy drugs you with LSD or they dose you, that does not mean it's a close encounter of the fourth kind.
No, but you're going to have a close encounter.
You might think it is with what you'll be experiencing, especially when you're not expecting it. But
Yeah. They call that one the close encounter of the Cosby kind.
Which we can say because I think he was guilty.
Oh, he was guilty, all right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Next up, we have close encounters of the fifth kind, or CE5. This category was coined by Stephen Greer, another UFO researcher and retired physician. The things he has done are actually pretty incredible, and I think that we should do an episode on him alone, but we can save that for another time, but he's a really interesting dude. And so is Jacques Vallée, but Stephen Greer specifically.
All these guys' last names all sound like different types of cheese.
And you know what? They probably are.
Realistically, yeah. I think Greer was the most, because like it's like Gruyere or something.
And you know what? Looking at these guys, they probably just live off cheese. So maybe.
No coincidence there.
CE5 is defined by bilateral, voluntary communication between humans and extraterrestrials. This can include physical communication, such as speaking, like Tasker and I are speaking to each other right now.
Right.
Or telepathic, which is actually most common, especially when communicating with the Greys.
Now, that gray aliens, that's going to be a whole ordeal in itself that we're going to need a chunk of episode to talk about. But
that's going to be a fucking rabbit hole, man. That's going to be like... that's going to be like a 4-parter of
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh,
yeah. We'll have to start with the rabbit. It's
like I'm going to call out of work and I'm going to just kind of start going on rants on 4chan.
Yeah.
And it's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's because there's so much about it. But all you need to know for now is that gray aliens tend to speak more telepathically than verbally, as I have come to know.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it is a pretty common. So any sort of communication, though, like you are exchanging words and ideas with an extraterrestrial is a
close encounter of the fifth kind. Fifth kind.
Okay.
And believe it or not, Tasker, there are even methods of contacting extraterrestrials called the CE5 protocols.
Yeah.
I know you're super interested in this. It's basically a lot of hippie bullshit.
Okay, I'm interested.
I knew you would be. Which includes a lot of going out in nature and meditating, looking at constellations. Oh my God, is that Orion's belt? Oh no. And then using the power of your imagination.
That's right. This was in the 70s, right?
Yeah, no. Stephen Greer made this probably like in the 2000s at some point.
Oh, okay. So this is a little bit more.
No, but the CE5 protocols, I don't think that's Stephen Greer. I mean, actually, it might be. I'll have to look into that. But it basically just know that with the power of your imagination and going into nature, you can contact your own extraterrestrial for free.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I've done it.
Yeah, I was going to say I could do it tonight by just going on to my weed app and buying my legal California marijuana.
Okay, now we come to close encounters of the sixth kind, or CE6. This occurs when the death of a human or animal is associated with a UFO sighting or interaction with an extraterrestrial being. And think cattle mutilation. And then after you think about cattle mutilations, I want you to think about steak.
Oh, yes, please.
I'm so hungry right now.
Oh, man, dude, the worst.
And then just thinking about like cattle getting fried.
Yeah, and like if an alien is blasting it and stuff, that thing's going to be like that perfect medium rare.
Ooh, yeah.
They have the technology for it.
I bet you aliens would be such good chefs.
Yeah, unless they're using like microwave kind of stuff technology, because then it's basically like microwaving an entire bit of beef, which is fucking sacrilege.
I don't know. It probably smells pretty good.
Probably, but I don't even want to think about it. But now, so CE6 is getting killed. So something is dying because of alien interaction. So even if that means an alien landing crushes like a small cow, technically that's a close encounter of the sixth kind.
Mm-hmm.
But in a more extreme circumstance, if we as a person get killed by an alien, that's CE6. So when we inevitably go to war with the Martians, when we realize that they were living underground the whole time, we're gonna have a sorry, that's a reference to One Piece. There's
oh, here we go with the anime again.
CP6, CP7. That's it's an assassination group.
Oh, okay, just get on with your point, man.
I'm in a great arc in that show right now. But anyways, so CE6 is I knew I was going to make that mistake too. Water 7 arc to anybody who's watches that show. But yeah. So if you die, that's Close Encounters number 6.
Yes, and Close Encounters of the Sixth Kind is where shit starts getting real.
Right.
Because it's no longer, oh, look at that, and it's no longer, just getting abducted, maybe getting abducted and then getting put back in your bed.
Right. This is
now
danger.
It's like coronavirus level. Like coronavirus very well could have been an alien disease, an extraterrestrial disease that was for some reason stored in Wuhan, and then it escaped.
Well, yeah, there's already conspiracy theories that coronavirus is actually bioengineered and that it's actually a terrorist attack.
It's absolutely bioengineered, dude. The only level 4 biolab in China was in the radius of the outbreak when it first broke out.
Oh, dude.
At least that's from an article that I read. That may or may not have been on a credible site.
Right. I can't wait. I can't wait for when all this like pans out and then we could just do an episode on it.
Yeah, we'll get there. Well, once everybody discovers that it was actually an extraterrestrial disease.
Right.
Yeah.
We gotta let the story finish before we can tell it,
Yeah, because, we don't want to make assumptions.
Yeah. And it's like, we're not novelists. We can't predict how this is gonna end up.
Hey, speak for yourself, buddy.
Oh, yeah, fair point. Okay.
All right, and last but not least, we have Close Encounters of the Seventh Kind, or CE7.
Yeah. This is where things get a little bit rambunctious.
Welcome to the midnight edition of Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind.
Oh, we're bringing things 18 plus. Cover your ears, but if not, welcome to the show.
I said it once, and I'll say it again. It says explicit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. You knew what you were getting into, and now we're really earning that expliciticity tag.
Oh, yeah. So CE7 is an interaction between a human and an ET that results in the creation of a hybrid being, whether that is through biological sexual reproduction or artificial insemination.
Yeah.
Which nothing gets me harder than artificial insemination.
So, jokes aside, this is basically having sex with aliens.
This is either having sex with aliens or being forcibly milked by aliens in order to produce seed.
Yes.
And those are two very different things.
Yes, as a whole, there's no love in being artificially inseminated. I guess there could be to a degree, but generally not in most normal cases. No.
Yes, unless you have a very specific fetish.
Yes.
This is not a good time.
So if you came to this podcast to figure out, can I bang an alien? Though not recommended, there is classification for it, so one could assume that there probably is a way.
There is a way, and it's been done, unfortunately. It has been done by people to people, okay?
Oh, dear.
And as wacky as this topic is, it's super interesting. And there are a lot of people out there who believe that they are the parent of a hybrid being or are a hybrid being themselves. And we could just do a whole compilation episode on people who believe that shit. Because and some of them have pretty good evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, evidence is a strong word. Pretty good anecdotes about it. And I will, but I think that we could talk about that in a future episode.
It sounds like a really beautifully shitty plot twist in a comic book where it's like the main character had telekinesis the whole time, and it turns out it's like, oh, because my dad fucked an alien and now I'm a hybrid, and that's why I have telekinesis and all that stuff.
Yeah, like Peter Quill, Star-Lord.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Holy shit! So Peter Quill is from Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's a close encounter of the seventh kind,
baby. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, see, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
Yep. And because it's in Marvel, it's fucking real.
It exists. So you're welcome.
And this is really where the most extensive version of Hynek's scale ends. The most universally accepted, I'll say.
Right.
There are other close encounter levels out there. Like when I was doing research on this, I saw like 8, 9, all the way through like 12.
Oh, wow.
But it's mostly just written by nerds like me on the internet, and nobody's really accepted them into the like lexicon.
Right.
So we're gonna completely ignore those.
Yeah, I think this is like, it's about as far, like, because we're at, what, Close Encounters number 7. That's kind of, it's about as far as it goes without it just really getting just super, like, heavy, almost unnecessary detail and, like, very specific, like, and we could do that with anything. You can always break it into even more bigger specifics, but 7 is about, that kind of covers really what needs to be covered and what's really like worthwhile noting if you were like making a report, say if you actually did get abducted and have to deal with stuff.
Yeah, or if you work at MUFON and you're a field investigator, like I hope to be one day, and you got to be like, okay, what kind of encounter was this?
Mm-hmm.
Then now you know.
That's right. Yeah, you're on a quest to MUFON is what it's called, right?
MUFON, yep.
Yeah, that's over time. Nick's gonna try to become an agent of their brigade.
Nothing would make me happier if I could become a field investigator at MUFON.
And I was gonna say it would actually skyrocket the credibility of this podcast because you would actually be a certified UFO researcher.
Well, then I'll get to work on it.
Yeah. So hey, any listeners, if you have a good connect or know any way we can help, help Nick. I really do not want to be a part of this.
No, he has no interest in this, guys. You know, Tasker. He's happy to watch me frolic amongst the UFOs, but he doesn't want to join.
Nah, I'm more on the hippie bullshit side. Like, give me my forest meditation with a bottle of bourbon and a bag of weed.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Really excited that we were able to do this episode because, like we said, it was very meta. It's where we got our name from,
right?
You know, and it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of come full circle, and we just wanted to get this one out of the way early on, you know?
Yeah, and also glad that we, one would argue, why didn't you do this as your first episode? But it's like, kind of want to get your feet wet before you tackle, the thing where you get your name from and stuff. And who knows, we might be able to revisit it with like more like specific stuff. And actually, now that we've established this as an episode, we can actually start using the Hynek scale for any future episodes. And don't worry, because I'm going to forget all of this too. We'll do reminders as we go along and be like, oh, by the way, this is an example of Close Encounter number 5 or blah, 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 blah as we go.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really good idea. So do your homework. Listen to this episode 10 times. Memorize all of it. Yep, memorize the scale.
This is your prerequisite listening for the rest of this podcast.
And up top, guys, talking about social media real quick. I fucked up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
fortunately, it's only a number.
It is only a number. This whole time we have been giving you CEO TPK for Twitter. I forgot in a drunken haze that when I made our Twitter, CEO TPK was taken. So this whole time, it's actually CEO TPK1, the number 1. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that is where you will find us on Twitter. So again, that's CEO TPK1.
And you can think of it too as listening to this podcast is it might induce big lights, which is a close encounter of the first kind. So think of that number 1 and throw it at the end of it.
There you go. I like that. Hey, look at you, man. Look at you tying in UFO stuff.
Oh, I'm doing my best, yeah. And also because I hear that's just what happens when people listen to us. They kind of just go into a stupor. I don't know if it's hypnosis or something like that. But
that's the intelligent communication.
Exactly. See, we're trying our own like alien communication with you guys.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe this whole maybe we're aliens, and
we are.
This whole experience is a hold on. Let me scroll back.
Okay.
The Close Encounter of a Fifth Kind.
Good job.
Yeah.
You did it, man. Look at that. You passed the quiz.
Oh, thank God. See, everybody, I'm learning just as much as you are. So if you're not getting the hang of it, don't worry. I'm with you in the ride. We're all here to go on this big space journey together.
Yeah, exactly. But our Instagram is still the same.
Yeah, everything else is still CEO TPK. It's the Twitter, of course, that has the number 1 at the end of it. So, and also too, if you try to look us up and it's not working, just throw a number 1 at the end.
Yeah, just try it on anything, but it should be fine. Another thing that we want to try and open up with you guys is more lines of communication.
Yeah, we actually have a series where we're starting to kind of lay the groundwork for, but we realize that there are more stories to be told outside of popular culture, and we wanted to start a series known as Local Legends, where we want you actually to get a hold of us. And if you have like a local story, like a local haunted house or something that's like maybe your hometown always talked about and stuff,
like a cryptid or anything that you think we would like love to cover.
Yeah, let us know if there's enough information on it. We will 100% do an episode on it. So if you are interested in letting us know of your local creature, crazy person, supernatural story, or even just a crazy ghost story, like, dude, email us.
Yeah, email us. Our email is ceotpk1@gmail.com, the number 1, okay? Another way that we could keep in touch is we did make a Discord server. So that's going to be discord.gg. I almost said GGG. discord.gg/B6CT5MX.
And I'll repeat that because I know I will screw that up myself. Wait, does the capitalization matter on that?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about Discord. Yeah. I don't think so, though.
Just in case, I'll read it off as it is. That is discord.gg/lowercase b6, capital C, capital T, number 5, capital M, capital X.
Yes. So we do have a Discord server. So that one, that could be more of just like a shoot the shit thing. If you guys want to chat with us, we'll be on there.
Yeah.
We'll be around. There's some channels set up for, local legend stories. If you guys have, like we said on for the email, if you guys have local legends, chat about it in there. Let us know.
Yeah. And also too, we have our own local legend that we're going to do soon. So you can kind of see like the type of episode and like to expect if your idea does get picked and stuff. But also keep in mind, we do need enough material to do a full episode on it. I mean, if we just get a bunch of small ones, we could probably just do like maybe like 2 or 3 at once.
Yeah, like a compilation would be cool too. Yeah, if we had like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. So I emphasize, you have a cool supernatural story local to your town, local to your city, let us know and we'll put it on the show because it's just we need ideas.
Yeah, and it's really thanks to you guys and the reason we're doing this is for you guys.
Yeah.
So to hear from you and to hear your stories and to tell your stories would be awesome.
Yeah, and on that note too, at this time of recording, I know in the past we've been like joking about how we like are not on any platform or anything. We are now both on Spotify and iTunes, and the reception to us as of recent has been very glowing and very nice. And we just want to say thank you so much for listening so far. Thank you for not shutting us off, and thank you for not reporting us to federal agents.
Yeah, or the Men in Black. So we really appreciate you not reporting us to the Men in Black.
Yeah,
especially.
How scary would that be if just one day they like come knocking on our door like, "Hey, you need to shut the fucking podcast down." So we just suddenly stop uploading. It was probably because of that.
Yeah, very scary. And yes, so we are on iTunes. We are on Spotify. If you're listening on iTunes, it would help us out tremendously if you would rate and review. Just take a quick second to tell us what you think about the show. Give us some stars. That would help out a lot with getting the word spread and getting our show out there to more people who are interested in this topic, because I know it's a very niche topic.
Right.
But it's a topic that I know people want to hear about, because people like Tasker and I want to hear about this topic, and we decided, well, we're just going to tell it.
Yeah. And also, too, you can be the guy that was like, "Oh, I was there in the beginning. Like, I was an OG listener." So,
yeah.
if you want that ego boost, hey, now's the time.
Now's the time.
Your call to action, which will, in theory, only take a couple minutes. But hey, I'm not one to tell you how to live your life. I know for me, like, just closing the blinds sometimes feels like a walk through the Sahara.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get out of bed.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, maybe I'm depressed. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
It was funny actually while you were saying that. Siri turned on, so Siri's listening to us too.
Oh, good. They're all listening.
Yeah,
to us.
We're all here for you, and so is Siri.
And another thing, guys, if you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and give us a follow if you like what you hear. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because we are going to just keep making episodes of this. Like,
yes.
We have a really nice process set up. We have a really good workflow set up. So expect episodes every Wednesday. I think was our plan. Yeah. Yep. Every week we're hoping to upload a new one. It's super fun for us to make this, and it's a really good time. We enjoy it. Doesn't feel like work at all. So we hope to keep the train going, and hopefully you guys will be along with us.
Yep. And guys, thanks again for listening. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Don't get abducted.
But do make a hybrid baby.
Oh yeah. Close Encounters number 7.